The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will fail, and unfortunately, there's not a whole lot I can do about it. So, for those who are unaware, Tears of the Kingdom is going to be the next installment into the Zelda gaming franchise, and it will be a direct sequel to the critically acclaimed Breath of the Wild. Now, when it was first revealed that this game was a sequel like 3 years ago, and also that it was originally planned as DLC, I honestly didn't have my hopes up. However, I reluctantly withheld my opinions on the matter until we got further info because obviously I didn't want to make an ass of myself if my presumptions were proven incorrect. But now that we have seen 2 trailers as well as some art book leaks for this game, it unfortunately appears that my initial intuition was spot on, and that when all is said and done, in the grand scheme of things, Tears of the Kingdom will be a very unimpressive entry into the Zelda franchise. So in the ending for Breath of the Wild, Princess Zelda vows to restore Hyrule to its former glory. And it was a very neat moment, like, oh wow, good for you, Zelda, you might actually do something useful for once in your life. Unfortunately, it appears from the trailers for Tears to the Kingdom that her words were just for show. The map in Tears of the Kingdom is exactly the same as Breath of the Wild in every shot. Take this very opening scene of trailer 2 for example, the thing they want to lead the trailer with, and we see it's just the Woodland Tower Hilichurl camp from the previous game. You would think that Zelda would prioritize clearing out a monster camp that literally resides next to a village, but apparently not. Similarly, this location in the trailer is just the Bridge of Hylia, which is still unrepaired, which is absurd considering this is key infrastructure for Hylian trade. And then there's like a bunch of open fields shown in the trailer, identical to the previous game with no signs of development anywhere in sight. Like honestly, what the hell was Zelda doing for the past 5 years in reconstructing? And not only did Zelda fail to rebuild any of Hyrule, but also in the very first trailer for this game we see that she also accidentally revives Ganon and once again he takes over Hyrule Castle. Like what a total failure and joke of a leader. And I just don't understand why Nintendo not only makes Princess Zelda totally useless, but also aggressively detrimental to progress. It honestly feels like social commentary that white women like Zelda can't lead a great nation like Hyrule, because if they do, they'll just find a way to mess it up in 5 years. And as a strong advocate for feminism, I just don't agree with it. And not only do I just find this silly lore-wise that none of Hyrule is repaired due to Zelda's incompetence as a leader, but I also think this will make for a far less interesting game. Like, most of the fun in any open world game is exploration, and once you're done exploring, then there's not a whole lot to do. So considering Tears of the Kingdom will be the exact same map with no new changes in a rebuilt Hyrule, I don't foresee this world being very fun to explore, which kinda defeats the whole point of an open world game. Now, it is the case that we are getting 2 new regions in Tears of the Kingdom, one in the sky and one underground, but honestly these regions don't look very big nor impressive to me. First, the Sky Islands are just these tiny land masses that look to house dungeons, puzzles, and boss fights for the game. They really just seem to amount as a replacement or addition to shrines in the previous game, and not really something new to explore. Not to mention that the Zelda game with floating islands, Skyward Sword, is universally agreed to be the worst entry in the franchise by the Zelda fandom, so it seems pretty odd to me for them to reintroduce a gimmick that was in the worst Zelda game. Floating islands are just inherently fake and lame. There's a reason every public Minecraft server bans you from building them, they just look dumb. And the underground also doesn't look very impressive, as every shot we've seen is just very narrow passageways and small caves. I did see a lot of people online think that this scene from trailer 2 meant that the underworld was going to be this big sprawled out area, but if you just zoom in a bit, you will see that the area is clearly surrounded by walls, so it's really not that big at all. Now, given that I've made it obvious by now that this sequel will not have too much new to explore, the question then becomes, well, why did this game take 6 years to make then? And to that question, the answer will be the new crafting and building mechanic. Pretty much every shot in the trailers emphasizes this crafting mechanic in some way, whether it be showing monsters that you will get crafting materials from or showing off the vehicles and weapons you can build with it. Basically, the game is inspired by all the hilarious clips people posted online taking advantage of Breath of the Wild's physics engine. And I reckon their whole goal of this is to make the game produce even more hilarious, clippable moments for people to post on Reddit, TikTok, Twitter, and whatnot. And this will in turn just market the game to an even wider audience. So if you're a fan of sandbox games like Roblox or Minecraft or Gary's Mod, and the prospect of making gimmicky contraptions like perhaps a cuckoo cannon or a Zora zapper or a Sheikah bomber plane excites your creative imagination, then you probably will like Tears of the Kingdom quite a bit. But for those of us more long-time true Zelda fans that want a more mature, grounded in reality RPG adventure game, I think Tears of the Kingdom will just be a massive flop. And though the game may be the talk of the town for around 1 to 2 months due to all the hilarious clippable moments we'll be seeing of it online, I reckon over time people will come to their senses and look back on it as a massive step in the wrong direction for the Zelda gaming franchise.